You ever wonder why some people seem to just get it when it comes to money? Like, they make it, they grow it, and they keep it, while the rest of us are out here wondering how our bank account hit 0 days after payday. It's not just about luck, inheritance, or some secret society that hands them golden keys at birth. Okay, maybe a little of that sometimes, but most of it actually comes down to how they think. Yup, the way rich people think is often completely different from the way the average person does. And once you see those mental patterns, it's hard to unsee them. So let's talk about it. No jargon, no lectures, just a calm chat between friends about how wealthy people view the world, money, time, and even failure in ways that most people don't. Let's dive in. First big difference, rich people think long-term. One of the most noticeable mindset shifts is how rich people treat time. Most people think day to day, maybe paycheck to paycheck. Rich people? They're often thinking years ahead, 5, 10, 20 years into the future, where the average person might think, can I afford this monthly payment? A wealthy person is more likely to ask, is this a smart long-term investment? They're not just buying things, they're buying assets. They're looking at how something today can grow in value tomorrow. It's kind of like planting trees instead of picking flowers. Flowers are pretty, but they don't last. Trees? Trees grow. They give shade. They give fruit. Eventually, they become worth a lot more than they cost to plant. So instead of focusing on instant gratification, like the latest phone or a fancy dinner, wealthy people are often playing a long game. They know that small, smart decisions now can lead to big rewards later. Second, they see money as a tool, not a goal. This is huge. A lot of people chase money like it's the ultimate prize. But wealthy people, they often see money as a tool, a resource they can use to build freedom, options, and security. Think about it. If you handed a hammer to someone who doesn't know how to use it, they might wave it around or hit something random. But give that same hammer to a skilled builder, and suddenly they're constructing a house. That's how money works. Rich people don't worship it. They use it to invest in businesses, to buy time, to create opportunities. To them, it's not just about having more money. It's about having more control over their lives. Third, they value learning over entertainment. Now this one might sting a little, but let's be real. How many hours have we all spent binging Netflix or scrolling endlessly through social media? No judgment. We all do it. But here's the thing. Wealthy people often prioritize learning over passive entertainment. They read a lot. Not just novels or self-help books, but finance, history, business, psychology, anything that gives them a better understanding of how the world works. And it's not just about books, podcasts, courses, mentors. They're always looking for ways to expand their thinking because they know that what's in their mind is often more valuable than what's in their wallet. Think about it. If you lose all your money, but you've got the knowledge and mindset, you can build it back. But if you lose your skills and understanding, even if someone gave you $1 million, it wouldn't last long. Fourth, they embrace calculated risk. This one's tricky. Most people are taught to avoid risk. Play it safe. Don't rock the boat. And that's not bad advice in certain situations. Like, crossing the street or cooking with oil. But when it comes to money and success, rich people often lean into risk. Smart risk, that is. They're not gambling wildly, but they're also not afraid to take chances when the potential upside is worth it. Starting a business? Risky. Investing in stocks? Risky. Buying real estate? Risky. But all of those things, done intelligently, have the potential for massive rewards. Meanwhile, playing it totally safe, like saving everything in a bank account, might feel secure, but it's not always the smartest move long term. Inflation eats away at savings. Opportunities get missed. Growth slows down. Rich people tend to ask, what's the worst case scenario? Can I handle it? And what's the best case scenario? If the math makes sense, they go for it. Fifth, they value time more than money. Here's a fun thought experiment. You can always make more money, but you can't make more time. Once it's gone, it's gone. Wealthy people know this, and they treat their time like it's sacred. They delegate, they automate, they invest in things that save time. Why? Because they know their time is better spent doing high-leverage activities, like thinking, creating, leading, or even just resting properly to stay sharp. Meanwhile, many people trade time for money, working longer hours, doing everything themselves, afraid to spend money on help or tools. But the rich, they flip it. They spend money to buy back time, so they can do more of what actually moves the needle in their lives. Sixth, they focus on ownership, not labor. This one's powerful. Most people earn money by working. A job, a gig, an hourly wage. They're trading their time and energy for cash. Rich people, though, aim to own things. Businesses, real estate, stocks, intellectual property. The magic of ownership is that it can pay you even when you're not actively working. Think about it like this. A worker makes money while they're at the job. An owner makes money while they sleep. Now, of course, building ownership takes time and effort, especially in the beginning. But it's a shift in mindset from how can I earn more to what can I own that earns for me? Seventh, they hang around other successful people. You've probably heard the saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And yeah, it's a little cheesy, but it's true. Wealthy people are super intentional about who they surround themselves with. They know that mindset, habits, energy, all of that is contagious. If you're constantly around people who talk about ideas, opportunities, and growth, you start thinking bigger too. If you're always around people who complain, blame others, or fear change, well, that starts to rub off as well. It's not about being snobby, it's about creating an environment that supports your goals. Eighth, they're not afraid to fail. In fact, they expect it. Most of us are terrified of failure. We think it's the end, embarrassing, shameful. But wealthy people often see failure as part of the process, almost like tuition for success. They know that behind every success story is a whole bunch of mistakes, bad decisions, and failed experiments. But instead of quitting, they learn from it. They adapt. They try again. That's a huge mindset shift. Seeing failure not as something to avoid, but as something to learn from. It's like falling while learning to ride a bike. Yeah, it stings, but it's how you get better. Ninth, they ask better questions. This one might seem subtle, but it's big. The questions you ask yourself shape your thinking. Instead of asking, why is this so hard? Wealthy people might ask, how can I solve this in a smarter way? Instead of saying, I can't afford this, they ask, how can I afford this? That little shift opens up creative thinking. It turns your brain into a problem-solving machine instead of a dead-end wall. They're constantly asking, what's the opportunity here? What can I learn from this? Who can help me with this? How can I turn this into something valuable? Better questions lead to better answers and better results. 10th and final one, they believe they can. Okay, this might sound fluffy, but it's actually foundational. Rich people, or those on their way to becoming wealthy, often believe that wealth is possible for them. They don't see success as something that only happens to other people. They believe they have the ability to figure it out, to grow, to build something meaningful. That belief drives their actions. It pushes them to take risks, to learn, to keep going even when things get hard. And look, it's not about blind optimism, it's about faith in progress, believing that with effort, time, and the right mindset, you can move forward. So, what now? Here's the thing. You don't need to be rich to start thinking like a rich person. These aren't secrets locked behind a velvet curtain. They're habits of thought, and anyone can develop them. Start small, read more, ask better questions, value your time, look for ownership opportunities, surround yourself with people who lift you up, take smart risks, and above all, think long-term. Because the truth is, wealth isn't just about how much money you have, it's about how you see the world and how you move through it. Change your mindset, and everything else starts to follow. All right, friend, that's it for now. Thanks for hanging out with me. And if this got you thinking differently, well, you're already on your way.